Hey mama, welcome back to the show. Today's episode is one I've been so excited to share with you. I sat down with Sabrina and Eunice, two sisters who built an entire business around helping little kids feel their feelings. Sabrina writes the words and Eunice brings them to life on the page. And together they've created books like My Box of Feelings that give toddlers a way to understand big emotions before they even have the words for them. We're talking anger, jealousy, fear, all of it, broken down in a way that actually makes sense to a 2 or 3-year-old. I love this conversation for so many reasons. As a child development specialist, I'm obsessed with anything that builds emotional vocabulary early. But as a mom, I loved hearing two sisters talk about building something together, especially something meant to help kids thrive. If you've got a toddler having big feelings at your house, so all of you, this one's for you. Let's get into it. Okay, welcome. We are here with Sabrina and Eunice, and I just want you to introduce yourselves. Tell me about yourselves. How did two sisters get together and start a children's book and also talk about feelings?
Sure. We will do our best to answer your question. First of all, thank you so much, Ashley. It is just such
Yeah.
an honor to be here on your podcast. We love what you're doing. We love all the knowledge and resources you're bringing to parents. So thank you for having us. So we got started with writing children's books in 2018. We started Hello Lucky, which is our company, as a greeting card company back in 2003.
By accident in my garage.
Right. So we started out by making greeting cards. Now, Eunice and I are sisters. We're the
Yeah.
only two in our family. And we grew up moving all over the world because our dad was a diplomat.
Mhm.
And so I think that fostered a really uniquely deep bond between the two of us. And we also grew up in a family and in countries where there wasn't a lot of access to like toys or
Yeah.
American TV or anything. So from a young age, we were really forced to use our
Right.
creativity. Like we would make all of our own dollhouse furniture, our own clothes. We would stay up late, coming up with stories.
Yeah.
We just lived in an environment where that was a necessity, right?
And we were starting over again every 3 years. So we
Yeah.
were we had to be friends because
Right.
we were really each other's only person
That's right.
initially, always.
That's right. And all of our adventures overseas really gave us a lot of stimulation, I think, for storytelling. And
Mhm.
anyway, I could go into more detail, but we found ourselves both back in the Bay Area in 2003, and I had just graduated from business school, and Eunice had been working as an artist. And the reason I went to business school was because I wanted to help artists become more financially successful. And so Eunice decided to start a greeting card company.
I made some cards for a job I was doing and it took off and I was like, oh my God, what? This is a business? We could do this?
Yeah.
Or rather, you said, oh my goodness, this is a business while I was hand making cards one at a time in my garage.
Right. So I saw Eunice, and Eunice has always been the most talented artist I know. And if you've seen our children's books, you can, I think they speak for themselves. She's such an incredible illustrator. And so I just saw this opportunity, and it felt like a great opportunity for us to work together. So we started making greeting cards, and then fast forward over many years, we had children. So we have 5 children between us, and our kids were entering preschool, and we were reading them a ton of books and just realizing, wow, there are books that we wish existed.
Like potty training books.
Like, for example, potty
I
training.
was having a very hard time potty training, and all the books that seemed available were so boring for me as the parent to read over and over again, and not that interesting for my child too.
Right.
And so we're like, why are there no potty training books with poop jokes in them? I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah. So
So obvious.
so obvious. So exactly. So that's kind of how we made the transition from greeting cards into children's books. And honestly, it was also just a lucky break with our publisher Abrams in New York. We got an introduction to them through our agent, licensing agent, and the editor there just had seen some of our greeting cards for Mother's and Father's Day. And there was a Father's Day card with a Yeti that was like, I love you big time, Dad, or something. And it was just a really cute Yeti. And they, at that time, just happened to be looking for board books for new moms and new dads that celebrate the mom and dad. And they were like, hey, can you turn that Yeti into a book for new dads? And we were like, heck yeah, sure. And so we turned that into one of our books, My Dad is Amazing. And we have a companion book, My Mom is Magical. And those were our very first board books. They came out in 2018.
I mean, I think they're still
They're
some of our
still
bestsellers.
some of our bestsellers,
Yeah.
and they just really they just hit the market at the right time. They were exactly something that parents were looking for, and the way we wrote it was very much from the perspective of the child. We wanted to honor how much children just are in awe of their parents and how much they love their parents, because each page is like full of a superlative. It's like, my mom is more amazing than a billion butterflies. It's that type of exuberance, which is honest and truthful to how a child really feels. And then those books do double duty because they also remind the child, the parent who's exhausted and feeling like, oh my God, I don't have my privacy anymore. My life is over, that they are truly magical, right? That they are truly amazing. And also that carries with it a lot of responsibility, right? Your child sees you in such an incredible way. You have to take that responsibility seriously and work on your own self-regulation. And this brings us into feelings, right?
Mhm.
Feelings are so important because when you're a parent and as a child, learning how to recognize your feelings, express your feelings, name your feelings, and work with them in a healthy way that is not reactive and that doesn't cause harm to yourself or other people, especially when it's those big feelings like anger or jealousy, right? Feelings are just this incredibly important developmental milestone. And they're something that get triggered all the time by kids because they're young and they're dysregulated all the time because they're children. But big feelings get triggered in parents too, because parents are just operating on sleep deprivation. They're doing this for the first time. They don't have enough of structural support in our society in terms of paid family leave and daycare and things like that. And so they're just overwhelmed. And so they're getting triggered by their kids all the time. And then a big feeling comes up and they have to also learn how to name and talk about and manage their feelings so that their kid can see how that's modeled. And so their kid can learn how to do it. So it's like a joint learning exercise for both parents and children that is, in my view, probably one of the most important developmental things, goals or tasks that parents and young children have, and they need to do it together. And so that's why we wrote My Box of Feelings, which is the book that you invited us to talk about today.
Yeah, so leading into My Box of Feelings, how did you decide on the array of feelings and separating them instead of just doing it all in one?
Yeah. So for listeners who have not seen it, I'm going to describe the book. So it's actually a box of books. It's a box of 6 mini board books. Each board book is one major feeling group. So we've got angry, sad, happy, love, scared, and calm. And when you open each book, they're die cut. And so they're interactive, right? And each one has the structure. When I feel angry, I can feel ... to try to get into that next layer of emotional granularity of like, okay, angry also looks like jealous, right? And there's a picture that illustrates jealous, frustrated, right? Embarrassed, which is both sad and angry, but the shame is kind of comes from anger of like people kind of labeling you or judging you, right? Furious. Anger is a big feeling, right? So that's the example of angry, and it's got these die cut holes in it so that kids who are pre-literate are tactile, like they want to touch and feel and interact, right?
And it's a perfect little chunky child-sized little book
Yeah,
too.
exactly. So we chose this format because it's appropriate for really, really young children. The colors are bright, the illustrations are simple. And then we chose to do 6 individual books instead of one big book, again, because it's more developmentally appropriate. It's tiny, child-sized hands, little hands. And then we chose these 6 feeling groups because we did research on feelings and emotions, etc. And these are basically the major feeling groups. I mean, there are others. It's like there's some sort of disagreement in the field or whatever around others, but these basically encapsulate the big feeling groups. And so we chose that. And I would say the one that we chose that perhaps is less common for people who are writing about feelings is love. Because love is the essential feeling that children have and parents have for their children. And we wanted to dig into what that is. It's like, it's great, feeling grateful, it's feeling giving, it's feeling kind, and no matter what, you are loved. I am loved is the final sentence in the love book. And so we were very intentional to include love in the set of feelings because that's the feeling that you need underneath all the other feelings to get to a place of calm,
Mhm.
right? It's the feeling of love.
Mhm.
So that's how we chose those books.
I feel like your books have touched upon every single thing I would want as a child development specialist to provide for early intervention because, like you said, it has the tactile, it has these inviting images for children,
Mhm.
and it's simple.
Mhm.
Because, when we have a lot of fluff in our language with little children, they sometimes can get confused.
Yeah.
So it's so simplistic in the positive way for them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They are just beautiful. And Eunice,
Thank you.
just to bring you in a bit, you you designed all of these, right?
Yes. Yeah. 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 So, I mean, and I'm very into imbuing everything with humor and sort of charm. And so, yeah, Sabrina wrote the amazing manuscript for it. And then my goal was to make it beautiful to look at, fun to look at, but also amusing and sort of whimsical and
And
charming.
and the clever die cuts, I would
And
say a
yeah,
lot of those were
those were tricky.
yeah, I mean, it was really hard because what happens with the die cut is that the picture changes, right?
Right.
A die cut hole that is a cherry on top of a cake turns into the center of the flower. So
Mhm.
Eunice is just a brilliant visual sort of thinker and designer, and so she had to design those die cuts so they lined up and they made
Right.
sense in the picture. So that was a huge design challenge.
And I feel like I'm the kind of adult that still remembers really deeply what it was like to be a kid. And so, like, for example, on Furious, where there's a little mouse that has a little sister mouse, no comment, no, I'm not referencing anyone, who is breaking his crayon. And he's just like, oh my God, I'm going to explode with frustration. Like, this is all drawn from personal experience.
Right, and the other thing
Is she talking about you,
No,
Sabrina?
Yes.
no.
Yes, guilty, guilty. I was that annoying little sister. Well, and the other thing I'll say about the way Eunice designed these books is the colors,
Yeah.
right? So there's scientifically proven sort of relationships between color and emotion. So angry is bright red, right?
Mhm.
Happy is yellow, bright yellow. Love is like this pink and red. It's like a pink loving feeling, right? And then calm is like this beautiful seafoam blue. So those are also some ways in which you made, Eunice,
Yeah.
very intentional choices in the design so that the entire visual vocabulary and aesthetic reflects the feeling. And so we're really trying to speak to all of the senses of the
Yeah.
toddler who's reading this book with their grown up.
And I feel like you both did that magically and perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We feel very grateful.
And and speaking of magic, can you tell me about your YouTube channel? Because,
We love our
I'm obsessed with it too. Because I told you that I had reviewed a bunch of children's shows, and some of them were not developmentally appropriate. And then I saw yours, and I was like, oh, they did it just right.
Oh, yes.
That again is just
That means so much.
means so much to us. So how did the YouTube channel come about? Well, we've been creating books since 2018. And all of our books are really deeply grounded in early childhood development. I don't have a degree in early childhood development, but I might as well have one
She's read, I think,
because
every book
I have
ever
read
written.
every single book and applied it in my own parenting. And one of my biggest sources of inspiration was this amazing preschool that my kids went to called Calvary Nursery School in San Francisco, where I I swear to you, I watched every single move and listened to every single word that came out of these preschool teachers' mouths and the director, who's a mentor of mine. So I feel like I got to learn from some of the greats, about early child education. It was a Reggio Emilia program. And so that's been a huge touchstone and foundation of the thinking in all of our books. And so, we realized that books are really important and children also love music. Music is another incredible vehicle for learning. And so the first step to our YouTube channel was to create songs inspired by our book. So on our YouTube, you'll see under releases, there's all of our music. We've released maybe over a dozen singles in the past year. They're also on Spotify and whatnot. But where we started was, wow, children could really use songs for some
Mhm.
of these ideas. And so we started writing songs that match our books. And then we were like, wait a second, kids are on screens a lot. And how can we bring them back to the music, back to the books, back to getting off screen, back to the people that they love, back into relationship with humans and with outdoors and tactile and doing stuff with their hands, right? So then we're like, okay, maybe we should try YouTube, right? Maybe we should try different formats on YouTube, including music videos, right? That give a simple, visual, engaging, animated version of our music. Maybe let's try YouTube shorts that take each of these spreads in the book about one emotion and bring the image to life, right? As a
Mhm.
teaching tool. So the kid can see that elephant getting really frustrated trying to tie his shoe, and that further reinforces the learning, right? So even though it's a short video, I think it's okay developmentally because toddlers do have short attention spans as long as you're not exploiting it, right?
Yeah.
You're meeting them where they are and delivering a little nugget of a learning that is like just right for them, right? So we have those. We have read-alongs with me, reading the books and kind of almost trying to model for parents and grown-ups and caregivers. How do you read these books in an interactive and engaging way? That's more educational, because there's such power in the way that we read to children. So those are just some examples of the type of content we released. We've only been releasing videos for about 3 months, and we're just so in love with it. We
Yeah, we love it.
love it.
I mean, and I'm going to toot Sabrina's horn here. Like, she's the most amazing songwriter and singer. Like, her songs they're like amazing earworms, but not the annoying kind. That's the other thing. It's like, in our books, we really try to create books that are amazing for the kids, but are also really engaging for the parents and the kind of book that the parent will enjoy coming back to over and over again. And I feel the same way about her music. Like, they're just bangers.
Thank you. And I have a wonderful collaborator named Chano Tizan,
Yeah.
who is the resident musician for Mustard Seed Preschool in Berkeley. So he's a preschool music teacher. And so he's helped me he sings on some of the tracks. He's helped me with some of the arrangements and producing and performing some of the instrumentation.
They're a great team.
We're a great team. And it's so fun. We go out and perform in front of kids and we have the best time. He's a great performer. So we're starting to take our music and our reading and everything on the road more now too. So
Sabrina, I did not realize that was your voice on there.
yeah.
Yes.
That is even cooler.
She wrote all those songs. She sings on those tracks. It's amazing.
What can't you two not do?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
And as a mom of 2 daughters, my only children, I just love how you two complement each other.
It's incredible. We feel so lucky that we have these incredible...
Very complementary skills.
Yeah. I don't know how we got so lucky, but we did. So we're taking full advantage of it.
Same absurd sense of humor.
Yes.
So.
I mean, I'm amazed, really.
Thank you.
So toddlers can't always name what they're feeling, right? How do your books help little ones build that emotional vocabulary before they even have the words?
Yeah. I mean, I think the My Box of Feelings books do it by showing what the feeling is in a concrete situation that a child will understand. So, for example, lonely. We have an elephant sitting on a seesaw or teeter-totter, and there's no one on the other side. That really expresses how a child feels when they're lonely, right? So the images, or a classic one, disappointed, a sad bear, and an ice cream cone that has gone splat on the ground, right? Children who are pre-literate will be able to see that image and understand what is happening and what that feeling is. And then the adult can scaffold and say disappointed, and then explain, like in some of the videos I do, disappointed is when you really, really wanted something and then it didn't happen. Oh, disappointed, right? So you can scaffold with a little bit of extra explanation that the parent can draw on their own personal experience for, right? So that's how I think these books help children who are not yet able to name their feelings, right? Because the first step to naming your feelings is feeling your feelings. And the images help them feel the feelings because they recognize what's going on in the image, right? And then the parent can bridge, or teacher can bridge to, okay, and that what you're feeling there, that has a word, and that word is disappointed.
And that is super relatable to toddlers because who hasn't dropped their ice cream
I know.
cone at
Exactly.
that age? Like,
Like
Right.
I said, I really channel like actual life experience in a lot of these images. I'm like, I remember very deeply what it felt like to experience something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, parents often want to fix a toddler's big feelings.
Yeah.
What would you tell a parent about just sitting with a feeling instead?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is to empathize with your child. Okay. Your child is not going to have full executive functioning until they're 24 years old. Okay. So all they're doing is feeling their feelings, and feelings are just data, right? Something is happening. There's a stimulus. It's causing a big feeling, and they need to just let that feeling move through their body and it will pass. It will pass. So let them feel the feeling. And if you want to affirm them, mirror it back to them. Like, oh my gosh, you feel so disappointed. Oh, I know. Right. And when they feel seen, then it'll be that much easier for them to allow that feeling to move through their body. Right. So, in contrast, if you try to come in and fix it, what you're actually doing is you're telling your toddler it's not okay to feel that feeling. And don't feel that feeling, don't feel that feeling. Instead, feel fear. Like fear of feeling the feeling, because that's what I'm feeling when I see you upset. I feel scared. I'm going to come over and fix it. So then you're actually training them to be anxious,
Mhm.
right? And so when they have a big feeling, and even when it's joy, like woohoo, don't go in and say, "Hey, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you." No, no, just like, "Yay, you're feeling so happy. Yeah." Right? And again, that gives them permission to own their own feelings. Their feelings matter. Feel their feelings, right? And so the only time you need to intervene as a parent is when your child's big feelings are going to cause harm, right? If they're going to hit somebody or bite someone or hurt themselves, that's the only time you really need to intervene. And sometimes, yes, let's say they're screaming in a crowded restaurant or whatever. You might need to be like, and okay, you're feeling
And
really upset, and we're just going to go outside now, you
yeah,
know? But you're still not telling them you can't have that feeling,
yeah.
right? So the key with a parent is, and why does a parent want to come in and fix? It's because when we were children, it was not maybe, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the big reasons is when we were children, it was not okay to feel those feelings. We didn't have grown-ups around us who taught us it was okay, and as adults, a lot of times, we're given information or feedback that it's not okay to feel your feelings at work, at school, whatever, right? So it triggers our anxiety when our children have big feelings because we know from our experiences, we have the experience that it's not okay. And so we take our experience and project on the child, but it's not, it's understandable. Have compassion for yourself. It's normal,
Yeah.
but just know that as what your child needs right now is to feel their feelings, and that's what's actually going to make them a super well regulated and super like zen, amazing adult. Like you got to be patient. It'll happen, and you got to help them along the way.
Yeah,
Kids are
absolutely.
good teachers too. I
Yeah,
feel like I've
kids are
learned
our
so
teachers,
much
right?
from my kids on how to
Right,
manage my own
right,
feelings, like.
exactly. So when you're tempted to fix your kid's feeling, to turn your you into an I, point the finger back to yourself and say, I am feeling anxious. I need to go take a break. I'm going to go calm myself down, and let your child have their feelings.
Yes, because what screaming toddler doesn't set off a mother?
Well, of
Totally,
course,
totally.
it's dysregulating.
It's completely
It's like
dysregulating.
it's overstimulating.
Absolutely.
It's totally normal. It's okay to get up, like to be dysregulated, need to
Yeah.
step away from your child for a little bit.
I still can feel the feeling of like when my children had like full blown tantrums. It was like,
Oh yeah.
"Ugh," you know.
Oh my, I know. It was just like that tight feeling. I know.
Oh my
I know
God.
that feeling too. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
and it's, excuse my language. But it's like, but in a way, what does it trigger? In some ways, it might trigger the feeling we had when we were a little child and we had a grown up screaming at us, a dysregulated adult, or some dysregulated person around us. And all of us have had that because all of our parents are human and they're not at fault
Yeah.
at all. But like, that's honestly what's going on underneath it. It's like it's triggering the deepest part of us that once felt helpless and scared because there was someone around us who was losing their crap and and shouting or yelling at us or doing something that felt unsafe, right? And that's actually what's happening inside you as a parent when your toddler is losing it, right?
Mhm.
Definitely. Definitely. And we could probably even have a full-blown conversation on that alone.
Hmm. Yeah.
If a toddler could only learn one big feeling skill before starting preschool,
Mm.
what would you want it to be?
That's a great question. I think it would be to take a big deep breath. When you have a big feeling, just take a big deep breath and just feel it, you
Mm.
know? And then maybe a secondary thing would just be to be curious about it, like make your feeling your friend, like wonder, "Huh, what am I feeling? What is this feeling?" And try to use your words if you have words to put a name to it or to try to talk to a grown up about it if you need help, you know?
Yeah, I really like how you said and put a name to it because as
Yeah,
they grow older, then they know what they're feeling. I mean,
yeah,
there are some adults who don't even know what they're
that's
feeling.
right. It's like make up a silly name for it
Yeah.
even, you know?
Yeah, I like that actually.
It's true. Hard to stay angry if you're like, "Are you feeling doo doo right now?"
Yeah, exactly. What's a feeling like anger, jealousy, or fear that you found hardest to write about in a way that toddlers could actually understand?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, toddlers are extremely concrete and feelings are not, right? Or they
Hmm.
are in the sense that you feel them in your body, so that makes them concrete, but they're kind of conceptual. And so I think for one, I mean, I'd say two of the ones that we have struggled with, or I've struggled with how to put into words for toddlers are gratitude and kindness, right? Kind, feeling kind, right? So gratitude, I kind of describe as when you feel grateful, you feel really good because someone did something loving, showed you that they love you, right? That's the feeling of I matter, I'm loved because someone did something to show me that I matter, right? And that's a really really hard thing to try to describe to children. And then the feeling of kind is like, "Oh, I love you and I wanna do something about it. I wanna show you,"
Hmm.
right? Because we throw around kindness and gratitude get thrown around a lot by adults in our society, and it's really they can be very, like, woo-woo meditation talk or whatever, and, like, to bring it down to a child's level is really, really hard. And I'll actually share, like, a couple of earlier attempts before my box of feelings that I think work on some level, but maybe less so in others. I mean, one of them is a book of gratitude called Thanks a Ton, and it's actually I feel like it misses the mark slightly. It's actually more a book about showing how saying thank you, right? How
Hmm.
do you say thank you when you feel a lot of gratitude? But it doesn't quite explain what the feeling of gratitude is. Instead, we've got an elephant who feels so grateful that he decides to show the person instead of by writing a thank you note, but by giving them all this grateful stuff, like a wagon full of all these funny, silly things. So the book succeeds in making inspiring a child about like, hey, when you feel that good feeling of gratitude, here's how you can show it, and here's why it's cool and exciting and awesome to say thank
Thank
you,
you. Yeah.
right? So, but this book, as much as I love it, it illustrates the struggle, right? It illustrates the struggle of how do you talk about how do you talk about gratitude, and then we have another book called Kindness Rules, which is all about kindness. But again, it's more about the actions like saying hello or sharing your toy or, treating everyone the same. They're sort of more about the actions that you take when you are feeling kind, like you love someone, you want to do something good for them, as opposed to trying to explain kindness is, right?
Right.
So, but I think these are great places to start for kids, and often this is where parents need to start because kids also need concrete rules of behavior, like
Hmm.
what to do and what not to do. So these types of actions, action oriented sort of teaching is a great entry point into talking about feelings. But it's somewhat different. So it just goes to show feelings are a really difficult thing to teach children about. And so just be compassionate with yourself and patient with yourself in because it's hard. It's hard, when you're trying to teach a child about feelings. It's hard.
It really is. And I like to tell my parents a lot, think about how you feel during that specific emotion and like,
Hmm.
how do you feel inside your body? And
Yeah.
then just kind of model that around the house. Like, if you're anxious, like, oh, my belly's tight or something like that. Like, oh, I feel like I have the zoomies, like,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
because then they'll relate that way with the feeling inside their
Mhm.
bodies.
Yeah, I love that. I think bringing it back to how you feel in your body and naming that is really, really helpful because kids are really in touch with their bodies,
Yeah,
right? Sometimes adults aren't. And so that's why we have a hard time explaining to kids how it
completely.
feels. But the kids are,
Yeah.
they know how their bodies feel.
Definitely. Yeah. Do you mind actually reading a page from one of those books just so they can
Oh,
hear it?
sure. Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. So thanks a ton. This is just a note to say that I'm so grateful for the way you helped me out the other day. Finding grateful words is tough. Sometimes I can't say enough. So, how about some grateful stuff? Like, how about this terrapin for that time you let me win? And a terrapin is a tiny turtle. And for that time you shared your room. I hope you like this big baboon. So that's thanks a ton.
That's very cute, and you sound like a preschool teacher.
In another life, I would be a preschool teacher. Who knows? Maybe when I'm older and I have grandkids, I will be a preschool teacher.
That's so cute. What would you have to tell our moms that are listening? Like, if you
Mm.
had any advice or something that we didn't touch upon?
Oh, gosh. I would just want them to know how awesome they are
Yes,
and just what they are doing is the most important job that anyone can do. And it's just a journey, like it's so important, but it's also okay to mess up.
totally. And you're not alone
You're not
because we've
alone.
all been there.
We've all been there, and you get to ask for help.
Mhm.
You get to have bad days. You get to get frustrated sometimes. And guess what? Your child is always going to love you because little children just love their parents. They see our best selves. Little children are wired to see your best self. So you might have a bad day. You might do something that you're not proud of, like with your child, lose your patience, use your temper, get impatient, whatever. But you can always repair,
Mhm.
and that's the key. And you're just on a growth journey. It's just, and that's what it is. So just embrace it and try to just love yourself first. Just be that parent to yourself first. And yeah, you got this. You got this.
Yes.
I really like how you said you can always repair because
Mhm.
let's face it, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But as long as you repair and say the words, I'm sorry,
Mm,
that means so much.
It
yeah.
does.
None of us have an instruction manual for this stuff.
No,
You get thrown into it and you're like, "Okay,
And
here we go."
No.
right, and part of how our children learn how to be good humans is by learning to learn from mistakes and apologize when they've
Yeah,
done something wrong, and if they don't see us as parents doing that when we make
right.
mistakes with our kids, how are they gonna learn how to do it with the other people that they interact with? They won't, so you
And it's
gotta
okay not to be perfect too.
yeah,
Like, I mean, nobody is perfect, and
nobody's
that's
perfect, and
fine.
just
Like,
tune out all the crappy Instagram, like, stuff that makes you feel like you're not doing it right.
right? Or you're not
Just
doing as much as
mute.
everybody else.
Just mute it all and
Yeah.
just focus back on you and your kid and just, notice like when you're doing something right. Just do more of that. You got
Mhm.
this.
Yeah, I love all of that. And you're right. Like, don't compare yourself to Instagram at
The
all.
Definitely.
worst.
Comparison is a thief of joy.
Indeed. It's just
It
the worst.
is.
And yeah, and when you do that, you're robbing your child of your presence and your
Mhm.
love and your attention, right? Don't like give your child your attention, not whatever like mom blogger is out there telling you that you're not doing it right.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, I agree. Well, it was so lovely chatting, and I'm blessed to have you both on this podcast.
Thank you for
Well,
having
we're
us.
blessed to be here, so thank you so much.
Sabrina, Eunice, thank you both for this conversation. I mean it when I say I don't think I've talked to two more genuinely inspiring women in a while. Watching sisters build a business around helping kids feel understood, that's the kind of work I want to shout about. If you love this episode, go check out my box of feelings and follow along with their illustrations. The new videos are stunning on YouTube. you have to see them. And Mama, if you take one thing from today, let it be this. You don't have to fix the feeling right away. Sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do is just sit in it with your toddler. That's it for today's episode. As always, if this helped you, share it with a mom who needs it, leave a review, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.